Hey, how's it going, fight fans? Welcome to Mind for Combat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rohan, and this is my platform where I do fight sports related content. If you're new here, why not help me grow my platform? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, and maybe hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. With that said, in this video I'll be breaking down the comeback of one of my favourite fighters in all of mixed martial arts, that's Aung La Nsang, as he looks to defend his world championship in One Championship against Reinier, the undefeated Dutchman, who's coming in really all guns blazing and ready to take the belt off of Aung La Nsang. Now, what's important to note coming into this fight is that Aung La Nsang is both the middleweight and the light heavyweight champion in One Championship. Now, this is going to be fought for the light heavyweight title, I believe, 205 yet. So, no, actually, that's the middleweight one in One Championship. So, yeah, some confusion there. But, yeah, because of the weight cutting policies of One Championship. And this is a very important fight because Aung hasn't fought since his pretty much historic win over Brandon Vera. And Brandon Vera is the One Championship heavyweight champion as well. So him coming back after a long time, after a big win, this is important for Aung, especially at this stage of his career. You know, he's 35 years old. He's been around for a long time. And he's fighting a really tough guy. He's fighting an undefeated Dutchman who's coming in, I believe he's 3-4-0 in One Championship. And he's really shown himself to be the work. So this is a big fight. And for Reinier, this isn't his opportunity to take out, in my opinion, the biggest light heavyweight in the world outside of the UFC. Now, I know there's obviously the Bellator world champion, which is Vadim Nemkov, a guy who I think a lot of. But for Reinier, he gets to take out the most consistent long-term champion there is in mixed martial arts outside of the UFC. And Aung's really become a superstar over in Asia. And like, when you look at Aung and you look at the traction that his fights generate, this is a humongous opportunity for this young man, and I really hope that he comes up all guns blazing and ready to perform for the biggest night of his life, because he may never get an opportunity this big. So this is a super important fight, not just for both of these men, for the world of mixed martial arts, the landscape of mixed martial arts, and of course One Championship. And I have no doubt that, you know, Burma is going to be on standstill, Myanmar is going to be on standstill to watch this fight, and this is a very, very important fight. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this fight. Let's break it down. As I've mentioned, Aung is a very experienced fighter. He's been around for a long time. He's been in One Championship for a long time. He's been a world champion for a long time. And that shows he's 35 years old. So that means he's getting on in age. Now, the heavier fighters tend to have a longer shelf life. So I don't think we're about to see the end of Aung's career anytime soon. I think we're going to see Aung around for at least another 3-4 years. Maybe the 1 year break that he's had now has added some longevities to his career. And I'm very excited to see him make his comeback. He fights Reinier, I'm sure I'm slaughtering his name, who's 30 years old, 5 years younger, but in MMA that makes all the difference. Also, when you look at their record, he's not as battle worn, so he's going to be much fresher coming into this fight. And Aung fights a very particular way, which makes it very exciting, but it does add on the mileage. Aung has a professional mixed martial arts record of 26 wins, 10 losses and 1 no contest, and he fights Reinier, who has a professional mixed martial arts record of 12 wins, no losses. So he comes into this fight as an undefeated challenger, taking on a vastly more experienced long-term world champion in 2 weight classes. In Aung, this is a super important fight for him, for both men. Aung stands at 6'1" tall, and he fights Reinier, who stands at 6'4" tall. So Reinier is going to be 3 inches taller. As with every One Championship fight, it's kind of hard to find their reach, but I would assume, based on, you know, experience of martial arts and being around the game for as long as I have, that Aung has about a 74 inch reach, and he fights Reinier, who I would assume has about a 77 inch reach when you look at his frame, the way he throws punches and the distance he manages to get. Reinier is going to be the much bigger man naturally. You can tell, you can see it by looking at them. Aung could probably even fight at 185 if he was fighting in the UFC, so I think that's probably pretty important to know. I doubt he would go down to 185, but anyways, that's beside the point. I think Reinier is going to be the bigger man come fight night. To describe their styles, Aung is, well, he's a superstar for a reason. He's a very enigmatic character. He comes in, he engages the whole time, he brawls, he throws spinning back elbows, kind of like a younger John Jones, and he likes to get into the fights. He likes the bloody, messy brawls, and he's there to throw down the whole time. He's not there to faff around. He's there to make a fight happen. He's there to bring the heat. That's what he's there to do. Aung is good at everything, but he likes to tear up, and you can see that in any of his fights, which One Championship has made readily available for all of you guys to watch on YouTube. Reinier, to describe his style, I think he's good everywhere, as you would expect from any Dutchman. He's got good kickboxing skills. He ain't really got much kickboxing credentials, but I think he's got good skills generally. But where he shines is actually on the ground, to be honest with you. He's got a very submission heavy style, and I think that's going to be very interesting in a fight, given that I think he brings in a natural size advantage as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles the fight. To describe some of the key wins now, the 3 wins that jump out for me for Aung La Nsang is the win over the heavyweight champion of One Championship and Brandon Vera. Brandon Vera is of course streaking coming into that fight, and I've always respected Brandon Vera. Ong's beating Vitaly Bigdash. Vitaly Bigdash is a really talented Russian fighter who I don't think gets the props that he deserves just because he's not known, but he's a very good fighter. And another good fighter that Ong has beaten is Ken Hasegawa. Ken Hasegawa is another really talented fighter who I think a lot of. So those are good wins, and of course you would expect that from a guy who gets the respect that Ong does, you know, over in the Asian scene. Really, there's nothing to write home about with Reinier. Sorry, I just thinking how I'm going to pronounce his name, but he hasn't really beaten no one of note like that. He's gotten some good wins on his ledger, but I think the biggest person that we can say he's beaten is probably Gilberto Galvao. Gilberto Galvao came into that fight with a 30-6 record. Kind of muscled up that guy. I think he wouldn't pass a USADA test, that guy, but he's big, he's dangerous, he hits hard, and Reinier was able to shut him down, get him down, submit him with a pretty bad DAS, to be honest with you. But the knees, I just think that guy was exhausted. But that was a good performance from Reinier. I was going to call him Reinier de Souza for some reason, but Reinier, nonetheless, that was a good performance. And I think that showed a lot of his game coming into this fight. The issues for Aung La Nsang in this fight is going to be that he's very hittable, and I do question if he can, you know, keep the bigger Dutchman off him for 25 minutes. And as for the Dutchman, I think the biggest issue is going to be his inexperience versus the best. And Ong is really a sink or swim fighter, and it's going to be difficult to swim in these waters, I tell you that, man. Especially if you're inexperienced against that top level, you're about to be dragged into a deep ocean, as Khabib Nurmagomedov would say. Yeah, so the X factor for Ong is going to be his durability and his experience. Of course, he's going to utilize all of that. And the X factor for Reinier de Reinier is going to be his size, his strength, and the fact that he's fresh coming into this fight mentally, physically. He's probably going to be a lot fresher than Ong is. So this is a very, very important fight. Can't wait for it. The prediction, let's do that now. So on the feet, I think Ong beats him up. Flat out, I think Ong beats him up. I think Reinier's got good skills, basic fundamentals. That's not enough against a fighter at the level of Ong, who I think is going to be in his face the whole time. He's going to be busting him up the whole time. He's going to be not giving him the chance to breathe. He's just going to be all over him. Reinier's not going to be able to breathe. He's not going to get no space, and he's going to get tired. And I think where it's going to get interesting is when he starts to become a grappler. Once he starts shooting for takedowns and starts taking it down, I think Ong's going to be able to defend the first few takedowns. And what it really depends on at that point is whether or not Ong's been able to do enough damage on Reinier by the time that the fight goes on, that Reinier's ground game just starts to disappear and his wrestling starts to fade, and then he's just getting beaten up. Do I think that happens? I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on that, because Reinier is much bigger than him naturally. He's much stronger than him from what I can observe, and Reinier's actually got good fundamentals on the feet. I think he'll be able to survive a lot of damage. I don't think he wins a stand-up fight by no stretch. I think he gets outstruck the entire fight. I do think he has moments though. And in those moments, how he's able to utilize those moments is going to be interesting, particularly early in the fight when his will's not been broken, when he's not been blooded up, when he's not exhausted, and when he hasn't got, you know, this wild world champion just in his face, not letting him breathe, just busting him up. I think those are going to be his opportunities. Do I think he's going to be able to maximize those opportunities and capture a victory here? Honestly, no. I think that Ong's going to beat him up on the feet. I think Ong's going to defend takedowns early, and I think as the fight wears on, poor Reinier is going to get busted up. I think he's going to be exhausted, and I don't think he's going to be able to keep it up, and I think Ong's going to get a finish, a TKO stoppage, and give Reinier the first loss of his young career. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's going to be a great learning experience for him. And to be honest, one doesn't have the deepest divisions here, especially higher up in the weight classes. So I think we're going to be seeing a rematch. And this fight isn't necessarily going to be the most competitive, but I think the rematch will be a different story. Not to shit all over Reinier, I just don't think he's ready for this yet. Not based on what I've seen, unless things have changed in training camp, which of course they could have for a fighter as young as him. But fight fans, for my official prediction, I'm going with Aung La Nsang to get the stoppage later in the fight. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. This is going to be a One Championship heavy week. if you guys ain't fans, then make sure you check out One Championship videos. Thank you for always supporting me. You know, it means a lot to me. And I'm Rohan. Remember to comment below. Let me know what you thought of the fight, of the breakdown even. Let me know how you see this fight guide. And enjoy the video in the B-roll, the end roll. It's going to be a clip from a random video that I've done at some point. If you want to watch it, just go to my channel, find the video. It will be there. For some reason, YouTube doesn't let me pin links to my own videos in my own channel. That's really weird. It's picking it up as spam, which is super confusing. I'm not spamming my own channel. I'm just putting a link to my own video. But YouTube's never been on my side. The algorithms haven't helped me so far, so I don't expect them to. If you guys want to watch it, go ahead and find it on my channel. And thank you for watching, guys. I'm Rohan, and this is Mind for Combat. Brock Lesnar is a very big figure in the world of mixed martial arts and the world of professional wrestling. And I think the impact that he's had on mixed martial arts no doubt lasts till this day. When Brock Lesnar made the transition over to mixed martial arts in 2008, there was a lot of eyes on him. And there was those that said that he was a gimmick. There was those that said, well, he's an all-American wrestler, decorated wrestler, and he's a genetic freak and he should be given the opportunity. Now, there's those that have laughed at his, career in mixed martial arts, pointing out the fact that he's got 5 wins, 3 losses and no contest, and saying that he got knocked out multiple times. And then there's those that have said, well, he won a world title when he done pretty damn well. Now, I think objectively, let's get this clear first. Brock Lesnar had an excellent mixed martial arts career. He didn't debut and do any record padding. He done none of that. This is a guy who debuted in mixed martial arts and was pretty much fighting the best in the world from his first fight. So obviously he fought Min Soo Kim to debut, but in his first fight in the UFC, when he was just 1-0, he was fighting a former world champion in Frank Mir. Frank Mir at the time was a decorated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and a former UFC heavyweight champion with good stand-up skills, and was coming into the fight, was still only, I think, 28 years old, still a young man. And Brock Lesnar went out there and he fought him, and he didn't do bad. He took him down, was dominating, got caught in a knee bar. That was a bad loss. But then he went and fought Heath Herring, you know, a long-time veteran of mixed martial arts, a guy who had fought Rodrigo Nogueira 3 times, Fedor Emelianenko, Semi Shield. He had fought a who's who, and Brock Lesnar went out there and dominated him. Then he took out Randy Couture, a former heavyweight and light heavyweight champion, one of the greatest of all times, and a guy who was holding the belt pretty prominently at the time. Took out Shane Carwin, he fought Cain Velasquez, fought Alistair Overeem. This isn't a guy who had any opportunities given to him. So when you're looking at his career objectively, you have to say he's done well. Now, of course, there's accusations and, well, even the positive test result for steroids, and that surrounded him is pretty much his whole life. But I think whilst that will always put into question his abilities, for the sake of this video, we're going to park that to the side. Yes, I accept that that taints his legacy. Of course it does, but that's not what we're discussing here. Let's discuss his skills as a fighter.